Do you see your company as a pharmacy aggregator? I think we know the answer to that, but I'll ask that and then also ask, how do you see it relative to CPESN? Do you see it, I mean, it's been a very complementary relationship between Pioneer and CPESN. Pioneer has been very helpful to CPESN. We appreciate that. But how do you see things going forward as RedSail, Pioneer as a pharmacy aggregator? Do you see that changing? How do you see the relationship between CPESN and RedSail from the standpoint of being a pharmacy aggregator?
Yeah, it's got to improve. When you look and keep getting better, QS1 and Pioneer, if you had to say who had the best relationship with CPESN, in my opinion, 3 months ago, you would have said Pioneer and QS1. I could be wrong, but from my view, that's who I think. I think you're going to see that wasn't because it wasn't accidental for either one of those companies. That I think their goals are aligned. They believe in what CPESN's doing and as an instrument, and I think you're just going to want to put that on steroids. I agree with you 100% about the technology, though. The best situation for independent pharmacy today would be if everybody was on the same pharmacy system. If that system was benevolent, and not trying to extract money from the independents, because exactly that. You have to be the thing that can bring these independents together where there are independent is the technology. An example of that is that, 3 weeks ago, a company came to us and wanted to roll out 2 clinical programs. We rolled them out 2 weeks later. You cannot do that on most other platforms in the United States today. And we rolled it out. Our belief is that a pharmacist has to almost do it accidentally. It has to be in their workflow. They have to almost stumble upon it if they're going to do it and do it successfully. And that's how you kind of you hate to use the word control because you're not controlling anybody, but that's how you help them through technology. You make it so easy that they almost can't not do it.
So related to that, one of the complaints I hear from pharmacy management system vendors is, well, I hear actually on both sides. Sometimes NCPA is in the middle. We're hearing it from pharmacy management system vendors as corporate partners trying to, working with them to help our members, and we hear it from members. So we'll hear from members, my system doesn't do that. And occasionally we'll hear that with Pioneer, not that often, but we'll hear it with, fill in the blank. I wish my system would do that. And then we'll go to you, Jeff, or one of the other pharmacy management system vendors and said, yeah, we heard from an independent that said they'd really like for your system to do that. And I would say 95% of the time, the pharmacy management system vendor says, we do that. We've done that. We've had that, we updated that 3 years ago or whatever. And so it's a pretty common, I guess, conundrum that the systems can do more than what the user knows or what the user is using them for. How do you see the combined company? Is there a way to solve that? Is there a way to solve? I mean, it's not a new problem. Is there a way to solve for?
Yeah, when you figure it out, help me. Any ideas you have, help me. So that's
I can't tell you how many healthcare industries have the same exact problem.
Yeah. No, as always around here, we say it doesn't matter how amazing we are. If nobody uses it, then we stumble across Chris Cornelson. I don't know if you know him. Cornelson tells a great story. He went into a pharmacy. And he does a lot with nutrition supplements. And he gave them some ideas that actually made them a lot of money. And while he was there, he went in a room and there were whiteboard and stuff on the whiteboard. And he's like, what is this room? And he's like, oh, this is our MedSync room. He's like, really? You have Pioneer? Let me show you some things. And he showed them some things about how they should doing their workflow to do MedSync and Pioneer. And the guy about 2 months later sent him a thank you card, handwritten thank you card. Oh, wow, I'm getting this thank you card. He's thanking me for all the money I'm making. Nope, he thanked him for helping him with MedSync. So, it kind of tells you the example there is that, a lot of times the day and the lot, helping me with, he changed it. Putting a little money in his pocket wasn't as important as changing his life and the day and how it felt in the pharmacy and stuff like that. But we run up on that again and again and again, and we're constantly thinking about, how do we get more people? How do we get more than 50 or 100 people in our webinar? How do we get more than 500 of our 45,000 users at our Connect conference to learn? How do we interrupt them? And some of that's going to be training, and some of that is going to be just the system's just got to do it. Great example out of CPSN. They had somebody who was just killing it for care plans. They were really just knocking it out of the park. Not only just the fact that they were submitting them, but the quality of what they were writing. And so a group there got together and contacted them and said, hey, you guys are doing a great job. What are you doing to do this so well? And they were like, we didn't know we were doing care plans. And what's funny is the first response from CPSN, from the clinical people, was, oh, no. If there wasn't pain, it's not any good, right? If you didn't suffer, you're not providing quality. But you go back and you go, no, look at what they're providing. They were doing their job. They were recording their interactions in MedSync. They were recording it in the system where it worked for them to store it for what they were doing. They're being good clinical pharmacists. And that stuff was just taking care of itself. And that's what we got to do more of. And that's where we got to take that next step in investment and getting smart people and really thinking, how does it just happen? How do they trip into it? How do they, if they're doing their job and they're doing it well, which we think they all are, how do we have their job fall into their pathway in such a way that they do these amazing things? And hey, welcome to, that's as important to doing us as changing how the employees clock in for X, is really helping them with a common technology to do the things better at just the course of what they're doing.
And you, as you mentioned, in workflow.
Yep.
In workflow, so it's easy. And then also, a lot of times our members, and you know this, they don't realize it's there until they need it. There's pain. There's pain, and they say, uh-oh, I need this, I want this. And that's when the learning moment happens. But to their defense, they're just bombarded with so much information that I think, to the extent that information can be consolidated to say, this is the most important thing you need to do, I think that's helpful to members. I know that's something that we talk a lot about at NCPA, because we know there's, the owner's getting hit from all sides with information, and it's hard to filter sometimes which thing is the most important thing. So, but yeah, tapping into the full potential of the system is.
We also got to continue the soft skills support for the pharmacies and teaching classes about how to establish goals and how to plan things, how to say this week, not to try to do too many things, what's the one thing I'm going to do this week to make my pharmacy better? Not just get into this, I'm just, walking around the court dribbling the ball, right? And some of that's going to be getting them, trying to connect more people. One of the reasons we're doing these podcasts is try to connect people to be inspired to learn those things, to make changes, to connect them with people like you and Amina and who are really doing stuff and really dedicating themselves to the profession